Hello my friends and welcome back. On the menu today are the pedals. I already made a video in the past about the different technologies and build quality of these pedals, so I will not discuss those topics in this video. For today I just want to compare one to the other in a user experience. The lineup of pedals are all from Thrustmaster with different technologies. The contenders are T2PA, T3PA, TLCM and the latest addition, the T3PM pedals. The test consists of 20 laps per pedal set, no more or no less, in Gran Turismo 7 on the Red Bull Ring with a 600 pp front-engined, front-wheel driven Peugeot RCZ Group 4. The objectives of the test are to establish which pedals give the fastest lap, the average time per lap, the average time difference between the laps to measure consistency, and the possible lap time. First in the test are the TLCM pedals, as they were already mounted on my rig. Second were the T2PA pedals, followed by the T3PA, and last but not least the TLCM pedals. So to start with something I could hardly believe. The possible best lap goes to T2PA. I had to double check that result as it really came as a surprise. I managed to get around the track in 25.846 seconds on sector 1, 44.723 seconds on sector 2 and 21.702 seconds on sector 3, totaling 1 minute 41 seconds 937 as a potential lap time. A note here is that the difference between T2PA and both TLCM and T3PM is about 1/10 of a second. Honestly, what I feel there if I drive with them is I give full brake, I give full gas, I give full brake, I give full gas, but that's about it. So it's very light. The pedals are very light. That's a big disadvantage. Nonetheless, without feeling a lot of immersion, I still managed to drive quick with it. The second objective was the average difference between the lap times, or better said, how consistent the laps were. Important to note here is that because you always can have a bad lap, I excluded the 3 worst results, leaving only 17 laps to be counted. The winner here is the T3PA, and by quite a margin actually. Again, quite surprising, as I thought for sure that the TLCM pedals would have won this comfortably due to the load cell measuring. The T3PA pedals have the cone mod. The first part of the travel goes very fast, boop, and you're hitting the cone, and it does help. It does help. However, I'm still not convinced by them, because they have the spring that is used in the T3PA for the brake is still very light. They have been the best pedals for a long time at Thrustmaster until the flagship TLCM pedals were released. The actual fastest lap was driven with the T3PM pedals in a time of 1:41.937, beating the TLCM pedals with only 0.08 of a second. So we have the T3PM pedals that are very well matched to the TLCM pedals. The big difference there is that the TLCM pedals use the load cell technology and a little more complex system of springs. I do have to nuance this result a bit. TLCM were first and T3PM were last to be tested, so I am sure that if the roles would have been reversed, the TLCM would have won this section. But seeing the past result and this one, I was even more impressed with the T3PM. They offer it with a standard spring, which I am using at this moment. It gives already a very nice resistance to my braking. Performance-wise and immersion-wise, these pedals are very good value. Even without a cone, the spring is very finely tuned, hard enough for resistance, and even if it wouldn't be, you can harden it even more with the other included spring. So it approximates the feeling that you have in a car a lot. A bit more resistance like you have in the car is a very big factor in immersion. And another very important thing that has been really tackled with these pedals as opposed to the older generation of pedals, when I let my foot rest on the T3PM, at least I don't have a problem that I am braking by accident. So that's the problem that I have with both the T3PA and the T2PA. Because I let my foot lean a bit against the brake pedal, just a tad, but it generates some braking force. So the last objective was the average lap time, which for racing is very important. Again, here I only counted the best 17 results for all pedal sets to keep it more fair. And the winner here again is the T3PM with the TLCM pedals right behind. Both the T3PA and T2PA score less here with 4 and 7/10 of a second slower per lap on average. Again here, perhaps a slight advantage due to the starting order for the T3PMs, but still well-deserved winner here. When doing the review of the T248, the T3PM pedals were a large deciding factor in claiming that this was the best all-round set to buy for starters. They are such an improvement in comparison with the T2PA and T3PA pedals, not only for build quality, technology and design, but also in performance. So which would I choose? It's a hard choice. The T3PM I like a lot. I think they are a bit cheaper than the TLCM, but they offer already a very nice experience. And talking about the price difference, with a retail price via Thrustmaster of $129.99 in comparison with $249.99 for TLCM pedals, well, that's double the price. Of course, via resellers the prices for TLCM can lower to €199, and on the second-hand market in my region they can be bought for €150. With the TLCM you also get the variable springs that you can combine. You have the washer in between the springs that you also can use. The TLCM will fit your need, okay? TLCM, you can have it a bit lighter when you push it, you can have it very heavy when you push it. It can do everything. There is no doubt that either one of the pedal sets are a certain upgrade in regards to T3PA and T2PA. If I needed to pick when buying the set new, I would pick the T3PM. Sure, there's more plastic on it, but it feels there is a nice balance between immersion and performance here. If you really want more performance and tuning possibilities, yeah, there is only one choice, and that is the TLCM. It will allow you to completely adjust how much force you need to put on your brake extra precisely, and if you can score a pair of these for 30 to 40% off of the retail price, don't hesitate. I also know that there are other pedal sets out there of Fanatec and Logitech. Unfortunately, I don't really have those available at the moment for testing. A follow-up on the pedals of those manufacturers will follow as soon as I have. What I can tell you is that I ordered an Uplight Nitro card. It was on my shortlist and asked also by some viewers, and will now be one of the upcoming videos, so don't forget to subscribe. I hope you had something from this video. As a special bonus, I have included the attempts I did to pronounce the T2PA pedal set. Thank you all for your support, and see you all next video. I'm not even sure how the little pedals are called, but they have two pedals, so two T. I will call them T2PA. T2PA being the T2PA pedals